Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
I'm Mallory Hartley. That's Greg Powers, and it's This Week
in Cruton.
It's This Week in Recruiting, presented by our good friends at Chicken Express. I have another trivia question for you.
A Chicken Express trivia question?
What other trivia question would I have for you? It's the best kind of trivia.
Well, I have a flavor-filled answer.
You have a flavor-filled answer. I like it. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
The franchise has grown to over 250 locations, primarily in Texas, of course. But they've also expanded into 3 other states. Can you guess those 3 other states?
Ooh, at least this is a trivia question that I can try on. I thought you were going to hit me with something like, I have no chance.
What year? Or something like that, yeah.
I'm going to go with Louisiana.
Correct.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. There's one more.
Ooh, I'm torn now between New Mexico and I'm going to go with Arkansas.
Arkansas is correct.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'll actually be in Arkansas this weekend for the Mississippi State game, so maybe I'll stop by Chicken Express in the Arkansas location. I wonder where it is in Arkansas, but maybe I'll have to go stop by before.
You're going to be going on your own flavor-filled journey.
I know. Maybe I'll have to stop by before getting into Fayetteville this weekend. We're always appreciative of Chicken Express being the sponsor of our favorite segment here this week in recruiting. Shall we get into it?
Well, first I need an acknowledgement of how good I did on that trivia. I need some validate. Greg, you did great. I can't believe you got those answers correct.
I hope you guys in the comments are telling Powers how great of a job he did at that trivia. That was
I
very
love
impressive.
fried chicken.
Very impressive. I know. You know your fried chicken and you know your fried chicken places, especially Chicken Express. We love you, Chicken Express. That's what we're trying to say. Should we get into it?
All right, let's do it now.
What's crazy about this week is when I was looking up, obviously, the players yesterday and the teams that they respectively play for, all of their teams this week are ranked. So all 3 players that we're talking about, all of their respective teams are ranked. So it's a big week for This Week in Recruiting. And we'll go ahead and start off here with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise is Lake Travis, 2026 defensive end Carter Buck. The 6'6", 240-pounder is the newest DCTX 4-star in the class of 2026, and he'll be taking his talents to TCU. Powers, he's had a monster of a year, and I'll let you read off his stats because they're
you'll have to go with the stats. I don't have his stats. I've just been watching his tape. So
here, I'll read off his stats to you real quick. So on the season, he has 17 tackles for a loss and 11 and a half sacks.
Not bad.
Not bad. So why did you decide to make him the newest DCTX 4-star this week?
Well, to me, it was this game against Austin Westlake that put him over the top. But he was already going to be a riser for us. And we had one player who had dropped out of the top 50. So we had one spot available for a 4-star. And Carter Buck is taking that 4-star spot. But he's also a guy who is going to climb up extremely high within that top 50. So he gets his 4-star now, but he's going to climb the ranks within that top 50. He's having a tremendous senior season, a constant tear, big, strong, hot motor, everything that you look for in a defensive end. Carter Buck checks that box, right? Their team is extremely good. He's the defensive leader on that team. And Lake Travis head coach Hank Carter thinks he might be the best defensive player he's ever coached. At Lake Travis.
That's crazy.
At Lake Travis. So he has to be a 4-star, right? The only question now is how high does he climb within that top 50? But his tape is amazing. It's probably playing while I'm rambling on about his talents. He's a guy who can put his hand in the dirt or he can stand up off of the edge. When you say 6'6", 240, you know that he's going to be playing in college around 275 pounds, maybe even bigger. But he's so fast and agile for a big-bodied defensive end. He doesn't really have any weakness to his game or anything that I can pinpoint and say, oh, you want to work on this. He's just a terror. I know that he has to give offensive coordinators nightmares when they watch that game prep tape.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say he was a quarterback's worst nightmare
Yeah.
last week. So he actually set a record last week after the Westlake game. I don't know if you saw that. Became the career leader in TFLs with 36 after last week's performance against Westlake, and also ranks 6th on the all-time sack list.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that? So very well deserved that he's our newest DCTX 4-star.
If they make a march to the state championship game or a deep run in the playoffs, he's still got 6, 7, 8 games left in his high school career to continue to climb up those ranks and be statistically one of the best to ever do it at Lake Travis. And if you're the best to ever do it or one of the best to ever do it at Lake Travis, you're 4 stars.
No kidding. Well, they are number 4 in Class 6A right now, and they're undefeated on the season. So I think the ceiling's pretty high for obviously Carter Buck and this Lake Travis team heading into the playoffs just in 2 weeks. It's crazy to say.
A side quest on this now for me is I was looking at his social media and stuff, and he has the 3 stars next to his name on everything. So that means I think that we are the first to make him 4 stars.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I can't wait till Carter Buck adds that extra star next to his profile. So it's going to be a good day.
I love it. I love it so much. He's our prospect on the rise. It's Lake Travis 2026 defensive end Carter Buck. Let's move on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week is Honeygrove. I feel like we've talked about him this whole year. 2026 athlete Ryelan Morris, the 5'9", 160-pounder, is rated as a DCTX 4-star, and just this weekend flipped his commitment back to Baylor from Stanford. If you remember, he originally committed to Baylor last year, flipped to Stanford in the offseason, and then recently this weekend has flipped back to Baylor. And
credit to Baylor for doing a tremendous job in this recruitment. This isn't a typical recruiting story. It's hard to commit to a school, commit somewhere else, and then come back into the fold, because that means that you had a really strong relationship. And sometimes those relationships, in the face of that decommitment, can fall apart. But he did a tremendous job. Keenan Hall specifically did a tremendous job at Baylor to build up a great relationship with Morris. And I love this fit for Baylor. I loved it for Stanford. And this is the 3rd time we've talked about his commitment, because he has, committed now 3 times. But I like him because he is a Swiss Army knife on the offense. I mean, heading into this season, I think he was around 6,000 total all-purpose yards in his Honeygrove career, throwing the rock, running the rock, catching the rock. He can do a little bit of everything, and you can move him around within an offensive scheme to create a lot of mismatches. He can split out wide, motion into the backfield, start in the backfield, motion to split out. There's just so many different things that you can do with Ryelan Morris. And looking at him, his senior season, I think he's playing with a little bit. I mean, he looks a little bigger to me. He's playing a little bit more physically. He's always been a guy who could run right by you, but he looks like he's really grown within his frame, and he's a guy who could also, pick up some tough yardage when needed now.
Well, I can tell you, I've seen him in person this year. I actually went to Honeygrove a couple weeks ago when they played Winsboro, and although they didn't end up winning that game, I still thought Ryelan Morris looked really good. He was able to pick up a ton of yards. They used him in a ton of different situations on kickoff return as well. So, yeah, he is kind of like that Swiss Army knife. I also like to consider him maybe like the mitochondria. So, if you know what a mitochondria is? It's the powerhouse of the cell. He's kind of like that workhorse of this offense. And, at Baylor, you could kind of use him pretty much anywhere. So, big get for the Baylor Bears. We'll see if they can keep him.
Well, you also had a chance to sit down with him. He was one of the Built Ford Tough Player of the Weeks, and that was one of the more impressive interviews. I mean, Ryelan Morris is a guy who speaks really well, but
he's very smart. His football IQ is very smart.
Well, he was going to Stanford.
He was going to
go to Stanford.
Right, exactly. So he was just very in tune with what he wanted and who he is as a player, and I thought that was really impressive.
He's also a football playing kind of guy. He is extremely smart, but he plays angry.
He does.
And I love that about him, because you think when I'm like talking about him being a guy that's like you move around. He plays angry. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's not a guy who's just like, oh, I'm just out here. I'm a fast dude. No, he's a football player.
Yeah. When I was looking him up on his 247 profile, our friend at 247 Sports, Gabe Brooks, says that he reminds him of Cavante Turpin.
That's a pretty good comparison.
Isn't that a good comparison?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he's somebody else.
Watching Cavante Turpin this weekend against the Broncos, I was like, I could definitely kind of see that.
Well, I also kind of think that that's a good comparison, especially for us in Texas, because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys.
Right,
too.
absolutely.
So it's like a name that you can see, but that's the type of guy he is. I actually think Ryelan Morris is a little bit more of a true running back than what Cavante Turpin, who, if he plays in the NFL, Ryelan Morris could very easily be a wide receiver. So I get that comparison.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, too, when you look at Baylor's roster right now, they love those smaller school East Texas backs, like Dawson Pendergrass, if you remember, from Mineola. Yeah. They've got Bryson Washington from Franklin, and now Ryelan Morris at Honeygrove. Like, they've got that kind of secret recipe, right? Going out to East Texas and getting these big-time productive backs, and they're successful. They've been successful.
Well, and they've done a good job of getting speed.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Turner last year.
Ryelan
too. Morris this year to go with those bigger backs. So now they have a little bit of a more diverse running back room to me. But I'm just saying it's not fair to just call Ryelan Morris a running back. They have to create a whole new position for him in Waco because he can kind of do it all.
Swiss Army knife, mitochondria. I absolutely love it. Commit of the week, Honeygrove, at 2026 athlete Ryelan Morris as he flips back to the Baylor Bears. Let's round it out here with our underclassman of the week. Our underclassman of the week is the Woodlands College Park 2027 wide receiver Julian Cromartie. 6'2", 190-pounder added new offers from Kansas and Georgia this week, joining programs like Arizona State, Baylor, Florida State, Mississippi State, UTSA, Washington, and more on his early offer list. He's a stud. 38 catches for 754 yards and 11 touchdowns just in his junior campaign. He is just... Watching his tape, man, he's so athletic, strong hands. He's everything you want in kind of like that outside receiver type.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I actually didn't even know this until reading about him before the show today. I didn't know he was the son of former NFL star Antonio
First
Cromartie.
Round pick, yeah.
So I like all of the stuff that I've watched on him. I didn't even know that. So that was a pretty cool. I mean, I of course familiar with the Cromartie name. I just didn't know.
Right, you didn't make the connection.
Yeah, I just didn't make the connection that was Antonio Cromartie's son, who was one of my favorite players when I was growing up. He played cornerback, and you can see that Julian Cromartie does a tremendous job of understanding the route tree. He's been coached up extremely well. And this is a College Park program that boasts a whole lot of talent right now. And we've talked about Camden Hughes this year. He's a guy who is also very good at throwing him the rock, the quarterback there. But Cromartie is one of these guys who can take the top off of a defense. But I love how he is in the red zone. Like, he's a guy that if you get him one-on-one in the red zone, he is going to make you pay. And the question now is, how high is he going to be rated within our ranking system? I think that he's a definite 4-star lock. We're taking our time and making sure that we can narrow that list down to 50 because only the top 50 players in the state get 4 stars. Well, 2027 is freaking loaded.
It sure
is. It's such a deep class, but I don't really think of a scenario in my mind where Cromartie's not a 4-star.
Yeah, he looks really good on tape. And if you are a Texas high school football fan, Texas high school football recruiting fan, this name might seem kind of new to you because this is actually his first year spent in Texas, his first year playing in Texas. He came from, I think, Mater Dei High School in San Diego, California last year, spent 2 seasons there, and then came over here to Texas to play at the Woodlands College Park. So if his name seems new to you, that's why. He's brand new to the state of Texas.
Well, he's definitely taken Texas by storm, and he's been a huge addition to that College Park offense. They are clicking on all cylinders, putting up monster numbers week after week. So he's a Texas high school football name that if you don't know, you need to know. So go ahead and put him on your radars right now.
Yeah, College Park, number 13 in Class 6A, 9-0 on the season. Another Cavaliers. Cavaliers in the Woodlands College
Cavaliers
Park.
theme.
I think this year's like the Cavs theme or something.
Cavaliers theme plus state ranked.
Yeah,
theme recruiting notebook.
In Class 6A. Definitely a name to keep on your list. He's our underclassman of the week. Woodlands College Park 2027 wide receiver Julian Cromartie. Go ahead and throw your offers in while you can.
Yeah, get him out there now.
Seriously.
I mean, I think he's got around 20 offers now, but I will say this. The offer from Georgia this week is going to start an avalanche.
I think so too.
I feel like, because if Georgia offers you, you're good enough to play at Georgia, then you should get all the rest of them as well. So he's going to have one of these really impressive offer lists within the state, because there's still a lot of these big P4 programs that haven't offered him yet, and they will.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Powers, I think that's going to do for it. Recruiting. Would you like to let everybody know where we'll be this Thursday for DCTX Rising Game of the Week?
Yeah, we're going to be in Prosper to watch upstart Prosper Richland, who's on a 3-game winning streak, I'd like to point out right now. And they are taking on the Legacy School of Sports Sciences from Spring, Texas. Coming up with the number 1 player in the state and quarterback Keyshawn Henderson, who's committed to Houston. And, of course, Prosper Richland's going to be UIL school next year after realignment. So this is a pretty cool test, I feel like, for a private school to come up and take up a potential or a future UIL program, and gives us a chance to watch Keyshawn Henderson in action, who, of course, will be throwing it to Texas A&M wide receiver commit Mike Brown.
And I'm really excited for this game for a lot of different reasons, because it just feels so much different than any of the games that we've done before. Obviously, this is our first private school game that we've been able to do. It's a brand new UIL school, so we're getting to see these guys that we've never seen before. You know, a brand new team in Prosper Richland, and then, of course, the number 1 overall player in Keyshawn Henderson. It's really exciting because it's a lot of new things for us this week.
Well, even fighting the narrative, like talking with our friends sometimes in the office, you're like, oh, well, this gives you the chance to see the number 1 player. I counter that by saying, look at what Prosper Walnut Grove has done since 100%. Getting bumped up to the UIL. We are getting ahead of the game on Prosper Richland as well, because this is going to be a program that produces players. This is going to be a program that has young talent on it that you might not have ever heard of before. Well, those guys are coming, and we're going to be able to get to see them first.
And man, I would want to watch this game if I were you. So you can absolutely watch it for free on youtube.com/@DaveCampbell's. Or, of course, you can subscribe to us on TexanLive.com and watch it there, along with everything else that we produce here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. For Sam Moore, our producer, for Greg Powers, our director of recruiting, my name is Mallory Hartley, and we will see you next Tuesday at noon for This Week in Recruiting.